Thank you for listening to our presentation here at We Are Family Radio Community Watchdog, stories and experiences and first-hand accounts. Most of us who have ever been victims of child sexual abuse understand the kind of behavior and mannerisms. And when I start to notice certain things about the pool and some other incidents, especially having been a crime victim and child sexual abuse and a witness to these incidents and having won our cases, we have a better success rate. I cannot guarantee much, but I do know this, the incident in the tub and some other things connected with Pennsylvania in Lock Haven and some other cases, there are been stories, and that's one of the things we want to discuss here at this discussion panel, that if you do have hints, clues, tips, please contact the local police. All these clues all led us back here, and prior to the Jerry Mahan case letter that was reported on in the Butler Eagle, there were all kinds of indicators about that and some other things regarding flyers and some other things. So by having information, the tip line is open, it's available to you. Your local police department does, in fact, accept all that information. There are so many ways to just articulate this discussion so that we can successfully recover and get these children home safely to their families and to the police department. And as you know, a lot of times in these cases, these children become members of our community. They become members of your, community watchdog reports in this case. So by you embracing and working with crime victims who have been victimized, you can also help those kids not only climb out of an awful ordeal. You can also help us by reaching out at our other project, which it is about recovery, search and rescue, and training. So contact your local police for more information regarding this. Now, I dropped out for a while, and I know that anybody has ever worked with crime victims. I have worked with Jessica Lunsford Foundation and other organizations, so it's not the first time I've been introduced to the topic on child sexual abuse. It's not the last time. I, in fact, attended therapy at 15 years old. I was, in fact, awarded the court in 1985 regarding the same matter. Not often do I get jumped back in. I do know that if there's information available, though, that I'm willing to help and in any capacity assist on those cases. I am also a trained legal specialist and also have worked with a doctor and doctors with child sexual abuse, and also outreach programs that can help families get back to living, and working with lawyers and attorneys through the U.S. Army JAG. There are ways you can reach out just by utilizing some of your skills. If you have information, again, contact your local police and your tip line. Thank you for listening to our post. Much more updates coming up next. You're listening to We Are Family Radio, and all things that we're going to be discussing, and also more awareness projects, how to raise street smart kids, how to discuss these topics with your children, and obviously the outrage and concerns that were being addressed here in our local community. Thank you for listening to this post. One of the more relevant topics here and locally, because I've talked to Miller's Quality Meat here in this area about Missy Barter's case. To me, cases like this, and having talked to crime victims and domestic violence victims and survivors, that survivor group, and places that you can meet by an open forum. Unity Monday is a very powerful experience, by the way, and thank God for Unity Monday over in Branson, Missouri, because there are people that reach out to the crime victims, and by reaching out, you guys can draw awareness to these concerns and discuss it with other crime victims. Domestic violence is a widespread issue. It's not just something that happens only every day. It's a widespread concern, not only in your community, but by discussing these matters, you can get help. Do not think you're trapped. Do not believe the lies. You do not have to be a victim. You can break the cycle just by speaking out. Thank you guys for listening to this post. Much more topics on domestic violence awareness, grief and loss support, and those type of things need to be made available at your public library and in public forums. That is how you on these concerns. Thank you for listening to our post.